Hey, you freaking Beatuses. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers 2007 Leader Class Megatron. This is part of Wave 2 of the Leader Class figures, and he retailed for $40 in the United States. He doesn't have any accessories, but he does have an instruction booklet, which is listed as ages 5 and up, 2 batteries included, has a total of 15 steps, and as you can see, has his, I guess, prototype head. That's what his head was going to look like, but then they changed it. And it is present throughout the rest of the instructions, but that is not the head on the figure. He's pretty friggin' cool, if I had to say. His jet mode is kind of lame, but oh well. It is what it is, you know. Trying to get a bulky robot to turn into a slim jet is a bit hard, but from the top you can get the relative shape of him, so that's at least nice. I have my other movie Megatrons out, but I just don't want to transform them right now, just because. For a size comparison, there's a DVD, Terminator 2. It's a bit bigger than DVD, so. Also, here is a comparison. Sorry you're seeing all this side stuff. He's a large figure. Here's 2007 Jazz in his vehicle mode. He's the standard size for an old deluxe car, so I'm sure you could get an idea of how big that is. So yeah. Jazz is probably not the best size comparison considering what happened. He has lights and sounds like most of the leader figures from back in the day. It's just this black button here at the top. You just push that down. He makes screeching sounds, which, you know, aren't the best, but oh well. So, like I said, he's only 15 steps, so he's probably one of the most simple movie Megatrons. It's just his legs and wings assembly here is very cumbersome, and it's hard to move his pieces around when you're trying to get them untucked. So let's go into transformation. So the first thing you're going to do is just push in this little nose cone piece here. Unfold this little panel here. Come around to the bottom, or at least to the underside of the wings. And I've got 10% on my phone left. Great. Untab his feet from underneath the wings. I don't know if you can see that, but they just come right out. Kind of, just move the legs as far away from the wings as possible, and then this whole back piece will just start to unhinge. So, if you can see in there, undo this, and then undo this bottom part. And before you pull that all the way around, just swing that around. This is the battery pack that holds his batteries, of course. This just kind of hangs down, but it should be unfolded like that for robot mode. Come in here to the underside of the jet, and then pushing the lights and sounds. Undo the shoulder pieces like so. Move his arms out of the way. Fold these pieces up. Pull out his hands. And make sure his arms are pulled as far out as possible, so that way we leave room for this whole section back here, because there are pegs. I don't know if you can see this. You see that little peg right there? That peg will go into the holes, or the pegs on each side will go into the holes on the insides of the shoulder. So just bring this whole assembly down, and it'll tab into his back, sort of. I don't know if you can see this. And then tab in his shoulders, and then come back to here. His head was like this. Just turn it around, and then here's his automorph. Untab the nose cone from the body, and then start to lift it up, and then hinge this in, and then this little panel underneath that holds his head, you're gonna lift that up, and it'll go into this tab right here. And then just make sure this is all pushed together. Just leave it like that, and as you can see, these pieces will fold in from the automorph. Come to the back, and now that we have his back section in, this tab right here from the back of the jet will tab into here, like so. Bring in his legs at the hips and rotate them down, and then bend in his legs. I don't know if you can see. So his feet are up right now. When you push them in, when you push his legs in, they will they'll unfold. It's kind of a scary feeling, but they will go down. Kind of straighten up his whole body, and this is coming in done. Keep it tabbed in, and there are idiots outside that won't shut up. Tab his head in like so, and then undo this little tab right here. And that will give him a screech, and then it'll lift up these little red pieces in the back. And there you have 2007 Leader Megatron in his robot mode, and he is looking pretty cool. I'll lift up my camera a little bit, or my phone. Why do I call it a camera? So there he is. He is pretty friggin' awesome. For size comparisons, here he is with, it's kind of hard to get him to stand. For size comparisons, here he is with the original Revenge of the Fallen Voyager, not your fancy Studio Series one. Here's the original Voyager. I don't have his backpack piece because it broke. I dropped him as a little kid. I have his other piece here. I just was too lazy to look for it. So, obviously considerable size difference, but of course 2 different size classes. But there's a sad evolution of Megatron. But as you can see, the head sculpt, well, it has the same shape. This one is a lot more movie accurate, a lot more detail, lots more stuff in there. A lot of people don't like how he's green. I don't mind it because it kind of looks like he's rusted or something, because he was left at the bottom of the sea. Here I have the 2011 Dark of the Moon MechTech Voyager Megatron. If I can fix his arms, geez. And his cloak might just tab in. Here that is. Again, considerable size difference. 2 different size classes. The head sculpt is definitely a lot better. It's very detailed. I think this is my favorite Megatron head sculpt, just because of how much detail is in there. I really do like it. I probably will get the Revenge of the Fallen Leader class. You're like, Dad, why don't you buy the Studio Series one? And I say, well, guess what? I've got a whole other collection with figures that scale just fine with it. I don't need to get a whole new collection. Here. Oh, frick. Alright, here he is with the Age of Extinction Voyager Galvatron. There they are. So as you can see, the size difference is basically the same. Here he is with the newest Leader Class Megatron, that being the 2017 Last Night Megatron. A little bit shorter, even though they are the same size class. Oh, his backpack is screwed up. I keep all my Last Night figures in the box because I don't have a place to put them. So I had to open him up, so he's still like he's out of the box. But there they are together. So yeah, size difference, even though they are the same size class. Just by a little bit, but he weighs like nothing compared to this freaking beefcake. Absolute unit. So yeah, for another size comparison, I know you're probably getting tired of these size comparisons, but here he is with the Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class Megatron. I don't have the original Leader Class Megatron from the movies, but I do have this guy. His legs are a bit chicken-legged right now. They're roughly the same size. Megatron is a little bit shorter, but he is a lot bulkier. He'd probably scale a little bit better with the first movie leader, Optimus, but oh well. I never had the original 07 leader. I had this guy. My friend had the original leader, but this was mine. So yeah, if you kind of look at him from an angle, they look the same size. So yeah. Yeah. He's pretty limited, just because of he's got these huge wings. He's just got a lot of stuff on him, which is kind of a downside. He has some rotation here at the shoulder. It can't go back at all. It has a joint, but it does, I mean, it can go back some, but there's no proper ratchet joint. It can go all the way up and a little back, all the way down, a little bit in, a little bit out, sort of a butterfly joint from the transformation, a slight bend at the elbow, it's not that great. He's got individual finger articulation, and then from the transformation, he can kind of lift up his hands. For the legs are a little finicky, and they feel like they're gonna break sometimes. But they can go all the way up, and then out a little bit, and it's kind of stopped and hindered because of this little rubbery bit here on the middle of his leg. Forward and not at all back thanks to the battery pack, but luckily the battery pack is movie accurate. He does have this weird little skirt piece in the back. Sorry, the lighting is so awful. I don't know what's wrong. I've got a few lights on in here, but it's not seeming to work for me. He's got a knee bend that can go 2 points back from his ratchet, and then 2 bends forward from the ratchet. And then he's got stupid Revenge of the Fallen feet, where they're all on a stupid hinge. At least that will stay in one place. This one I don't like because they actually screw up his balance issues, or they screw up his balancing. So he is a little hard to stand. If you want head articulation, you're not really going to get any unless you untap his head, but it just looks unnatural because the joint is in the back and not in the middle of his head. So yeah, so you can look all the way out. He can basically look wherever you want. So yeah, for gimmicks, he has about 3. He's got automorph technology in his legs, this, and his wings. Those are all automorph. On this arm, he has his mace that he had in the movie. When he used it a couple times. He used it to smash Sam from the building where they were hoping to rendezvous him with the Allspark and pick it up and get it away. He knocked him out of the building. So he used the mace weapon for that. So you just kind of you push this in, but you can just pull it out. It pulls out like that, and I like to fold up the fingers and then fold in this piece. So that way it kind of looks more like what his hand looked like when it was a mace. There's a little black button here that you push, and it tightens up the chain in here. It's all covered in a plastic chain links, but it's really just a piece of thread that has all of these on here. So it will pull that thread, and then it'll swing it like that. For the other arm, so yeah, you just open up this weapon pod, and then you fold his hand, you fold the chain up in here, tab that back in, like so, like so. Ah, jeez, are you kidding me? Will you just stay in there for once? Okay, so this one, He's kind of got a sad mech tech weapon. Friggin' mech tech, you know, just you push it in, push it back, push it in, spring loaded. This one kind of sucks because it's not even a mech tech weapon. So in the movie, he is fighting with Optimus Prime after he throws him through a building in jet mode. They land and they start fighting. Megatron throws him and he's like, "Join them in extinction!" And he folds his hands in and he pushes them together and they form a huge fusion cannon, and it's super awesome. This one is okay. You just tap his arms together with these little things. I'm not even going to try and get the camera in here because it's so difficult. Now the instructions say that you fold it in like that, and then you just push this little thingy, and then you can, I like to do is fold the other one in, and it just looks a little more natural to me, I guess, but I can see why this makes more sense because it's just one piece. From there, it doesn't look that bad, but when you see that there's a whole nother section, they're missing it, it kind of looks dumb. So what people have done is taken the spring out of this and then put it in here so that this thing is spring loaded when you launch his mace hand, and then this will stay open. The problem with that is that this gets floppy if you were to turn him any side. The little prongs here would go whoosh. So it's whatever. So just undoing that. That is Leader Megatron from 2007. He's pretty cool. I'd recommend him. A lot of people are like, "Oh, skip this guy. He's probably the worst leader class toy I've ever bought." He's probably not the worst leader class toy ever. I can't get that mace to stay in. He's not the worst leader class toy ever made, but he's probably the weakest leader class out of the 2007 line, just due to his posability, his automorph things kind of are a slight intrusive gimmick. This just makes no sense. He didn't have these. People say, "Oh, those are supposed to be the flames that came out of him when he got the Allspark." He didn't have flames coming out of his back. It was kind of just like a hole in his chest that was burning. I guess just let that drop. Whatever. Maybe that's why Galvatron has a hole in his chest and it's colored orange. I don't know. But he's a neat leader. He's fun. Not very fun to pose, but he's just a fun toy. He's a fun robot toy. He's just got fun gimmicks. He's kind of fun to play with. And he just kind of looks cool. I don't mind the blue icy bits on him. They're okay. And at least it's not like something stupid that looks nothing like the movie or has no reference to the movie. At least this is, at least you can say it makes sense. So, yeah. Join them in extinction, Megatron. Died. Face blown off. Nobody knows what happens to you. You existed and got your arm cut off. Don't believe the news. Don't believe the hype. Spaghetti out.